What's up, gang? Welcome back to DizDad TV. On today's episode, we're back on another reaction video. We're checking out the Disney Plus and Star Wars series Ahsoka. This is episode 4. If you want to check my reactions for either episodes in the series, any of the Star Wars and Marvel shows, if you're in a theme park and Imagineering, you can find it on the homepage of the channel. Links in the description below as well. Appreciate you guys checking that out. Halfway through, I guess almost halfway through this season of Ahsoka with episode 4 today, and been enjoying for the most part everything we've seen to this point. Really well put together series, lots of good action and great scenes and moments sprinkled throughout these first 3 episodes. Just kind of recapping where we're at this point from episode 3. Yeah, we saw Ahsoka and Sabine got back together in episode 2, and then episode 3 we see them. We saw a bit of training there, which was kind of interesting. To kick off the episode, and then a really nice fighter sequence as they arrived on Seatos. They discovered the hyperspace ring, so we're all kind of caught up on what's happening and what the plan is here. Again, that fighter sequence was really well done. I enjoyed that part. Hera's kind of off, left to herself still, dealing with bureaucracy and the New Republic and what have you. Got to see Mon Mothma in episode 3, which was kind of cool. Really probably the highlight of episode 3 was the Purrgil, the space whales. That was super cool to see them on screen in live action. That was really well done and really kind of added to the end of that chase sequence. There with the apprentice and the Inquisitor character we still know nothing about. So, but again, all around, pretty good episode 3. Definitely we're progressing to finding Thrawn, finding Ezra, potentially off in this other galaxy. So we're moving there. We're getting there. Does that happen today? It seems like something's got to happen because all forces, or most of the forces, are kind of congregating around this hyperspace ring and Seatos. But we're looking forward to see what happens today. Definitely going to be interesting to see kind of where things go from here and where we end up. Kind of leaving this galaxy is kind of a big unknown, and what we're going to find, when that hyperspace ring takes off, whenever that is. Which again, I assume that's got to be today. But really interested to see kind of what's out there for us story-wise beyond this. What does this all lead to? But all that being said, I am just looking forward to, again, jumping back into Ahsoka. And let's just go ahead and check out episode 4.
Come in, Home 1. This is Fulcrum and Pete. Do you read us? Over.
Did you hear that? She said Fulcrum. That's Ahsoka's code name from Rebels.
We can't send a distress signal, and our ship isn't going anywhere.
We're screwed.
The enemy has the map and the means to get where they want to go.
Don't tell me the odds.
If we can't make the journey to find Ezra, then no one should.
There it is. That's the conundrum, isn't it?
It won't come to that.
It might have already.
He'd be stranded out there. Maybe this time for good.
Better that than allowing Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
It's going to be a struggle for her, isn't it?
Can I count on you?
You know you can.
Definitely seems like a bit of foreshadowing.
Is everything all right?
Be careful out here.
She didn't really answer the question, did she? They've been found. It's bound to happen sooner or later.
The gods would not delay them long.
But you will.
Indeed. I like all these characters. Those two especially. I mean, Ray Stevenson. What else can you say? But we still don't know much about not just the Inquisitor, but also his apprentice. I've really enjoyed her on screen.
Relax.
Her mind's pretty clouded, isn't it?
Worried.
Nope.
Not very convincing. He knows something's out there, doesn't he? Droid fight? Wasn't expecting this. Oof. Oh, that was smart.
He wouldn't.
Here we go. Jedi and Mandalorian working together. Gotta love it. Oh, nice. They made quick work of them, didn't they? It's like...
Stay together. You always did better that way, in my opinion.
We better get moving.
Together.
Oh, very good.
Was that heartfelt? Condescending? What was that? Is that the ghost?
But you can't leave without authorization.
Watch me.
Oh, she's going to help. You knew she'd leave on her own. Oh, this is awesome. Chopper, I'd expect. I'm surprised she's taking her son. Doesn't seem like the safest idea here. She got company with her?
Thanks for joining the party, Carson.
Wouldn't miss it, General. You know,
Nice. We know this guy.
on your signal, Phoenix Leader.
That's great. Very cool.
Mark!
That never gets old.
For the jump we're attempting, if your calculations are off by even a little, we will be lost to the depths of the void.
That would not be so great, would it?
Faith. I lost that a long time ago.
Yeah, I definitely want to learn more about him. Here we go.
Going somewhere?
Oof, nice. We get our rematches on both sides. Now we just need Michael Buffer, right? Let's get ready to rumble. Oh, this music, again, great. Oof. There's our official countdown. Look at that. I love that. And we gotta know more about this character. Well, her too, but I'm still confused on this whole Inquisitor thing. It's honestly both like ridiculous and cool at the same time. Is that possible? I mean, I thought that with the animated series too, but... Oh no! What? What was that? It was like some kind of mist? What was that? I'm totally confused.
Got this.
Do you? Hu Yang said don't split up. Stay together. What just happened with that character? I guess, was it not human? Let's talk about this later.
Regret this decision.
I love her, by the way.
Protect the map until I send for you.
Just gonna leave just in time. Shouldn't have to see Ahsoka, isn't she? Yeah. As if on cue. Alright, these two are gonna come face to face.
Anakin spoke highly of you.
Interesting. He never mentioned you.
Few would live to see what he became.
This is true.
Surely that must leave a mark.
Oh.
I'm not here to discuss my past.
Oh, I love that response.
I'm not starting a war. But Thrawn will.
Semantics.
How inevitable.
Alright, be good. Please be good. Look at the look she's giving him. Ooh, nice.
How long until we receive the final coordinates?
Moments.
Better hurry up. Oh. That's pretty cool. I love getting to see their two unique fighting styles. Oh, look at that shot. You got the Mandalorian helmet there on the ground with them fighting in the background, and obviously Sabine with her lightsaber. Not again. Nothing happened.
You have no power.
Oh, that was great.
Your legacy, like your master's, is one of death and destruction.
Wow. That looked like that hurt. Is she gone? Little magic trick there. Yeah, don't forget that.
That.
She burned the crap out of her hand, didn't she? It's like touching an infinity stone. She needed the guardians around. Oh, she thinks Sabine's dead. Oh.
Speed. Destroy it!
Oh, she's gonna struggle, isn't she? Oh no! He's so calm, cool, and collected. Good grief.
But you're not like her, though, are you?
More than you know.
You bluffing?
I know you feel that Ezra Bridger is the only family you have left.
Oh, here we go.
Your family died on Mandalore because your master didn't trust you.
That's a little nugget there.
And I, to serve a greater good,
Oh, he's gonna talk her into giving it to him.
you will be reunited with your friend.
She's gonna do it. It's that age-old struggle. Ugh. You knew it was gonna happen, but you hate to see it. Now she's like, what did I do? Oh, wait. Oh. Well, she didn't promise anything. Yeah, he's a man of his word.
Copy, Huyang. We're already here.
Here comes backup. Is it gonna be too late?
The enemy has built a massive hyperspace ring. Do not let it escape.
Easier said than done. It's gonna destroy the evidence.
No one will be following us.
No one. Nice little shove in the back there. Oh wow. How cool is that? That's a cool, lots of cool shots in this episode.
Engage the hyperdrive.
What's gonna happen now? Are they just gonna go right through him? He's kind of looking around like, what's happening? This is gonna work. Are they playing chicken with a hyperspace ring? Whoa. Oh, no. They made it out. Wasn't sure if they're going to pull them in with them or that. What was that, Chopper?
I've got a bad feeling.
Nah, you've got a bad feeling. That's his Jedi sensibilities. Is she like hanging on the rock cliff? Nah. That was a cool transition. That was pretty wild. No. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. It's the, oh god, what is it? The World Between Worlds.
Master?
I didn't expect to see you so soon.
It's Anakin. Oh man, it's crazy. I cannot believe this is happening. Oh, the music. Oh, it's the perfect ending, but you knew the worst ending at the same time. Oh man. If you didn't see Rebels, you have no idea what just happened. Oh man, that's crazy. She's been there before. That happened very last season of Rebels. That was towards the very end of the series. This place called the World Between Worlds. And she's been there once before during that. Basically, it's like this, I don't know if it's like another dimension, but it's kind of like a confluence of like space, portals to different time throughout time, if that makes any sense. But there was an episode of Rebels, and she somehow got pulled. I think Ezra was the one that pulled her in it, because there's a lot of Rebels lore just in that last few minutes or last minute. Because there were a couple episodes and some backstory that tied into how she got there. But basically Ezra, who, if you don't know who Ezra is, this is all kind of confusing, but Ezra pulled her into this portal. She had died supposedly earlier on in Rebels, during a battle. And Ezra got in this portal, the world between worlds, and he pulled her out of that time period and then pulled her back into the current time period through this. There's you can access different doorways, and it looks just like it did in the animated series. That's crazy that we're seeing this. I mean, it makes sense why they would use it. I don't know how she got in there. I don't know. Somebody would have had to pull her in there. I don't think it would be Anakin. I wonder if Ezra pulled her in again. And I mentioned too, I'm trying to think if I brought this up. I think I even did. The first episode, I think I even brought that up, because it happened, I think when she was in the temple, the very start of the series, when she was working out, the witch's temple. And I had mentioned, it reminds me of a Rebels episode. Ezra was working on this painting, trying to get into a Jedi temple. And that was the episode where he got in, and he got into the World Between Worlds, and all this took place. Oh, it's crazy. And seeing Hayden Christensen there, I love it for that dude. We saw him in Obi-Wan, which not the best series in the world, but I thought his part in that was fantastic. So it's really cool to see for him years later. I don't know if I'd call it redemption, because I know he took a lot of crap for years from people for kind of some of his acting choices and decisions, which I don't even know if it was all his, from episodes 2 and 3. But I love seeing him back in this, and seeing the two of them together on screen is it's a bit surreal. Obviously, he's I don't know what time period he's coming from in this World Between Worlds. So maybe he's a little bit younger Anakin as opposed to where she's at age-wise. Obviously, current time period, he'd be dead, older and dead. So he's coming from a much earlier time period. Again, this is wild. I have so many questions right now. What's happening? Again, that whole transition from the water to her laying there, that was insane. That was so well done. But it was a good episode. Lots of good moments. One thing I've loved, I mentioned several times last episode, this one, the starfight battles. I thought the lightsaber battles, especially, even going back to Obi-Wan, as again, the series wasn't great, but the lightsaber battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin or Darth Vader was awesome. And even some of the ones I would have loved to see, and maybe they're going to save it for later on in the series, the one with Baylan and Ahsoka was cut short a little bit, didn't last as long as I would have liked. A little bit, not anticlimactic, because she is not dead and she got knocked off Sabine, and Shin kind of interrupted things. But it was a good, fairly short battle. And we only saw a little bit of Sabine and Shin there in the forest, which was pretty well done. I kind of liked that transition too. There was that really cool shot. I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but that really cool shot of Sabine's helmet in the foreground. In the background, you could see Sabine and Shin going at it with lightsabers. I don't know if that was kind of like a representation of her. I don't think she's going to give up the Mandalorian gear and ways, but it was kind of a neat thing. She kind of left that part behind where she had transitioned from fighting as a Mandalorian. She was initially with the guns to where it was just lightsaber. Of course, then she brought up, that was kind of a neat thing. It looked like she was trying to use the Force, and she pulled out the wrist launchers. That was pretty cool. So that was kind of a funny moment, but that whole sequence was pretty well done. Yeah, that was just a wild episode. And of course, the hyperspace ring, Hera gets left behind. She shows up, but she's too late. And, whew, man, it's going to be interesting because now what do they do? Obviously, we've got those, Morgan and Baylan and Shin and Sabine are off. But then Ahsoka, wherever she's at, Hera, still in the present. Everybody's kind of in different places at this point. So still nobody's together that we need together to get things figured out. And I don't know how Hera ever catches up. I mean, I guess Ahsoka might potentially have a way where she's at to get to this other galaxy universe. That's going to be really interesting to see that play out in next episode. But yes, it was a good episode. There are some things I am really enjoying. Some things maybe I'm not as crazy about choices wise. Again, I think technically I'm loving all the sound design. The music has been great. The fight sequences, everything on screen looks really good. And I'm loving the villain core, Morgan, Baylan, Shin. I hated that we lost that Inquisitor character. I don't know what that was. I'm assuming it was some kind of mist came out of him, when Ahsoka killed him. So I don't know if that's witchcraft. That was maybe something that Morgan's doing. I hope they kind of elaborate on that in future episodes. What or who that was. Kind of disappointed. I don't know that I needed a big reveal on that being somebody we knew, but I thought it was kind of an interesting idea to have an Inquisitor in this timeline. Why were they there? Those sorts of questions, who were they? What were they doing? But maybe it was just something that Morgan kind of coalesced and generated our own into that form. Maybe that's as simple as that. Maybe it's just reading too much into something we wanted to see happen. But again, I'm loving the villain core. I think all three actors good in their own ways. Definitely want to see more of the three of them in future episodes. I'm sure we're going to. Ray Stevenson presence still fantastic. The sequence there with Ahsoka was pretty good. Again, I'm really curious on his backstory. He said that they never met. I didn't get the impression he'd actually been around Anakin. He knew of Anakin, so I don't know if he actually ever met Anakin. But I'm really curious kind of his involvement in the Jedi Order, kind of where he was at in that hierarchy. And And maybe we don't learn, I don't have to know everything about these characters, but I'd like to kind of dive deeper into him and his apprentice, and kind of how they got to this point. Morgan, we're not seeing a whole much of her, but I do still like her character as kind of that de facto leader until we get to Thrawn. I am kind of disappointed. We had just gotten Sabine and Ahsoka back together, and now they're apart again. So I don't know, relationship wise between the two of them, at what point do they get a chance to kind of continue rebuilding that relationship? And we got a huge nuggets in this episode, there with Balin and Sabine, when he reads her mind and he mentions that Ahsoka's family died and Sabine's family died, and Ahsoka was partially the reason she wasn't there to help him. And that's just kind of thrown at us. And now I assume that's going to be addressed again at some point. That obviously explains, going back, I guess it was episode 1, and Sabine made a comment, there on the ship, you were not always, there was a comment about being there where she was needed. Ahsoka said that, and Sabine said, not always, I think is what the response was. And I assume that was what that was in reference to. But, what were the circumstances? There's still a lot of questions about those two, even for people that watched Rebels, because I think back to Rebels, obviously those two left together at the end of season 4. But before that, there was an interaction when missions were going on. There was no training between the two of them before. That's all been kind of off screen. So even seeing Rebels, there's some questions that I have about the two of them that I don't feel are answered quite yet. And maybe we're not going to get all that, but I was kind of hoping to see the two of them continue to work together. This is the Ahsoka show. We've got Rebels involved too, but I would like to kind of dive into what really happened. Like, so much happened in this couple year gap between Rebels and what's happening now, that we didn't see. And maybe we're still going to get more story in the future. They're kind of dragging that out a little bit. So that's one tiny qualm. I don't know kind of what Hera is up to at this point. She's just kind of been she's kind of been off on her own. Like episode 2, she had a good sequence there when she and Ahsoka were together, but she's kind of been off on her own as well for the most part. We've seen her son bits and pieces, small moments in this episode and last episode. And I felt like by this point we were going to kind of have our crew together. We've had the villains crew together, the group trying to help define Thrawn, but our Rebels team is still, they're still spread apart. At this point, they're even more far apart than they were back before the series started. And maybe we're not even going to see Zeb in this series, but I don't feel like we're getting any closer to. I want to see these characters together interacting, and I just feel like we're like teasing it, but we're never getting there, if that makes any sense. I'm still enjoying the show. Again, each episode's been really well done. I really enjoyed the first 3 episodes, and this one too. It was a good episode. I just feel like parts of the story are kind of dragging out a little more than I would personally like. And again, we're about halfway through. I feel like Thrawn is coming up at some point here, got to be shortly, and potentially Ezra. Sabine keeps mentioning, and again, if you didn't see Rebels, you don't understand this whole struggle that Sabine's having for Ezra. So I feel like maybe some of you non-Rebels folks maybe struggling a little more the last episode or 2 with some things that have been introduced, like the Purgle and this world between worlds, which is kind of a biggie. I feel like that's going to be, I don't know, we'll have to see episode 5 to kind of see how that plays out, because I'm really curious to see if they explain what happened before, because it was kind of a big deal when it happened in season 4 of Rebels, and how that works now. So I have a lot of questions about where they go from this. Again, enjoying the show, enjoyed the episode. Just still some questions about getting our characters together, how this is all going to work out. I don't need it to mesh perfectly, but I want it to make some sense and don't want it to be leaving too much out, both for myself that's seen Rebels and Clone Wars and those non-Rebels viewers as well. So yeah, I think I'm really curious to see episode 5 and where this goes. I definitely feel like we're going to spend some time with Ahsoka and Anakin in the next episode. And that's going to be very interesting to see because they haven't seen each other, pretty sure, since Clone Wars, since before Order 66, long before Order 66, actually. So that's going to be really interesting to see that play out. I'm curious, what that's going to be, because she's going to be meeting older version of Ahsoka with him at that point in time. Maybe with knowledge of future events. I don't know. Lots of questions. Again, it's kind of that world between worlds is kind of an interesting idea. And still a lot of unknowns with how that works. And again, how did she get there? Yeah, really interesting stuff happening in this episode. But yeah, really well put together. I enjoyed it. Lots of good moments. Again, I think there's been no shortage of that through these first 4 episodes. And hopefully episode 5, they can kind of start pulling this together. Some of this can make some sense, and I don't know if it'll be some flashbacks they'll give us, more exposition from the characters, whatever it's going to be. But I feel like there's some additional details that we need to be privy to, what's taken place before, how did we get here, those types of things, even for somebody like me that's seen all these series. So yeah, that's a lot of rambling on, and I apologize. But again, it was a good episode. I'm looking forward to it. And but as always, I appreciate you guys watching this reaction with me in this episode. And until next time, I will see you for episode 5 in Ahsoka.